Happy April Fools, but this is not a joke. April the 1st, 2024, the WBO has officially ordered newly crowned WBC and WBO 154-pound champion Sebastian Fundora to take on Terrence Bud Crawford. They have until April the 25th to get a deal done. So here's the WBO put out. As you can see, they put it out today on April the 1st. It is, what time is it? 11:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll go ahead and do a little bit of reading rainbow. It was sent to the management, Tom Brown, Team Fundora. If you don't know, Samson Lukovitz is the handler, promoter of Sebastian Fundora. We're going to listen to what he said at the post-fight press conference a couple of days ago. Please be advised that March the 25th, 2024, this committee granted sanction approval of the Tszyu versus Fundora WBO mandatory voluntary championship contest held on March 30th, 2024 at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, Nevada. Sanction approval was granted subject to the winner facing the next mandatory challenger in the junior middleweight division, Terrence Bud Crawford, within 180 days after the Tszyu Fundora bout. The foregoing condition was essential for purposes of sanction approval. Therefore, in light of the above and per WBO regulations and World Championship contest, the parties are hereby ordered to commence negotiations for the WBO mandatory junior middleweight championship per the following terms and conditions. The camps are granted 20 days to negotiate and reach an agreement as ordered. The 20-day negotiation period shall trigger on Friday, April the 5th. That's this Friday. Failure to reach an accord within the period outlined herein will result in a committee ordering a purse bid proceeding pursuant to WBO regulations of the World Championship contest. The minimum bid for the junior middleweight division is $200,000. Any of the parties involved may request a purse bid proceedings at any time during the negotiation process. Heavy speculation, and I believe it's going to happen, is that Sebastian Fundora will drop the belt. Don't be surprised if there is some extensions to the period, meaning that they can ask the WBO, hey, we trying to work something out. Can we get more time? But I don't see him fighting Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, what we do know is Sebastian Fundora wants to fight Terrence Crawford, but his management is steering him towards Errol Spence. For example, let's go watch some clips here before we talk in more detail. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
Najee from Cigar Talk. First of all, congratulations, man. Great fight. Extremely great win. Obviously, Errol came into the ring after, and he was really adamant about making this his comeback fight. Specifically in Dallas. I just wanted to know, how do you feel about sort of fighting Errol next and going to Dallas?
Everybody has goals, in boxing. He's a legend right now in this sport, and one of the top fighters. So, I like to get in the ring with him too. It'll be a great fight. He's before that Terrence Crawford fight, he was considered one of the best fighters in the world. So, let's do it.
So, I want you to listen to his answers. Really pay attention. Notice how he said everyone has goals, meaning like he's not saying, just follow along if you haven't seen this already. We're going to skip around a little bit, but it's all going to make sense.
Sebastian, Melissa Woods from AAP. Can you tell us, well, Tim was just saying he wants a rematch with you. Might be one for Samson. Like, do you have a rematch clause? Like, are you prepared to fight him given that he gave you this opportunity?
I don't know. That's not my part of the business. I just go in the ring and I fight, and I'm going to give it to my promoter.
Here, Samson wants to answer. What was the question?
If there was a rematch clause, and will Tim get...
Yeah, it's verbally a rematch clause, but I believe that I'm a promoter. I need to maximize the income of the fighter, and most likely he will have to wait on one fight at least, recoup himself, Tszyu, and then maybe we can do it, but definitely it will be in America because it's to be the fight.
So, of course, by now that Tim Tszyu didn't have a rematch clause. I blame his team for allowing that to happen, especially stepping in on late notice or having a fighter step in on late notice. He should have secured that. Notice how he says maybe one fight at least, verbal rematch clause. It has to happen in America. Okay. maximize the profit. So basically, you know, he's pretty much saying that Errol Spence is going to bring in more money. And also, they're going to be doing it in Dallas, likely in the stadium. You can't be mad at Fundora's team for trying to get him the money. You can't be mad at Samson, who wants to make money as well. But my personal opinion is they know Terrence Crawford is dangerous for Fundora, despite Fundora being 6'6". Listen in a little bit more.
Fight of the year, and maybe we do 2 times. But first of all, we need to take care of the business.
Sebastian, right here, Marcus Hayes with Fight Hub. Earlier in the week, we talked, you, me, Nonito Donaire, and I asked you, I said, why give up your for sure shot for the WBC interim title? And you looked at me and you said, Marcus, it's because I'm ready. I'm ready to push all my chips in, and I believe in myself more than I ever have. Talk to us about getting through such a bloody fight tonight and coming out on the winning side.
You know, this
pregunta es para Fundora y para Samson Loma.
he stepped into Vegas, and all the Mexican crowd came to support
Campeones mundiales al mismo tiempo. Nunca
me. Whatever, give me. Errol Spence is a great opportunity.
Order. The WBO. Sebastian, congratulations, young man, on a great win. My question to you is: the WBO orders you to fight Crawford next, or you'll be stripped. Under any circumstances, will you vacate the WBO belt to fight Errol Spence?
Whatever they give me, Errol Spence is a great opportunity. I think it's a match made in heaven. But Terrence Crawford is the best fighter in the world. I would like to fight him.
Straightforward. He wants to fight Terrence Crawford, but his team is going to steer him elsewhere. Let me see if I missed something.
Tell us a little about that. And
It's it all came out in the fight, and I hope I'm going to continue just doing my thing, and whatever I feel comfortable that night, that's what you guys will see.
I think that was the last one. But listen to this. This is another from his. I wish that we had. Who did this? Who did this interview? I wish I can tell.
I believe.
But listen to this. This was after the fight, after the post-fight press conference. They're going to fight Errol Spence. They're going to drop that belt.
I believe he deserves it.
Is that Errol Spence Jr.?
That's correct.
Over Crawford? Like, does Spence more money? Or?
No, Crawford will not sell out 90,000 people in Dallas. I can tell you that much.
But is Crawford the better fighter? That
you
think?
Yes, but you know, like everybody wait, like Benavides wait. Why not Crawford? Let him wait 1 time or maybe twice, and then he go.
Even with Spence, losing the fight, Crawford beating, you still think the value is better on Spence?
In the end of the day, is maximize the profit for the fighter. And it'd be stupidity for me not to do that for him.
So safer for Spence.
And besides that, boxing is business. As Mayweather.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about that answer? I mean, he is right, but at the end of the day, the hit to his reputation that Fundora can take by ducking Crawford, because it'll be a duck no matter how people slice it, and then he'll be fighting Terrence Crawford's leftovers, even if it is in a new division. And one thing for sure is, if Errol Spence beats Sebastian Fundora, he's going to give Crawford the runaround again for that WBO or that WBC title, excuse me. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think that Terrence Crawford is going to fight Tim Tszyu for the vacant title. We're going to see Spence and Fundora in Dallas. They're already negotiating. They probably were negotiating before the fight if Fundora won. And do not be surprised if we see Errol Spence, if he beats Fundora, move up to 168 to take on Canelo Alvarez. That's what I think is going to happen. It's a shame because Fundora, he's pretty much said it right there without saying too much that he wants Terrence Crawford, that he's the best fighter in the world. Errol Spence would be a great opportunity, but he would like to fight Terrence Crawford. Now, one interesting scenario is the purse bid. Will Samson allow it? I don't think he would. Because then, if it's a purse bid, he loses promotional rights. into the Saudi Arabians. There's the payday right there. It's about maximizing profits. Go to purse bid, but he ain't going to do that. Sampson is a PBC. He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. I feel bad for Fundora. Let's go look at the division, by the way. Errol Spence, as you know, got the shit beat out of him last July. By the time Terrence Crawford gets into the ring, it will be July. It looks like at least July against Hudo. You know, will it be Tim Tszyu? Will it be in the States? Will it be in Australia? Will he fight Boots Ennis, go back down to 147? I doubt that he's going back down to 147. And a lot of people seem to forget that the Boots Ennis fight was offered to Crawford, or Crawford did offer it to him. It would have been on BLK Prime, from my understanding. So all that narrative of, you know, he need to fight Boots, it was offered, but politics being politics, Boots couldn't take the deal because he was loyal to Showtime. Even Boots' father said it. Go look at the interview. So looking at the rankings right here, the fear is, for me, is that PBC is now back in control of the 154-pound division, and they like to play politics. Jamel Charlo's the champion in recess. I don't see him ever coming back down to 154. Also, he's got some legal issues outside the ring. Serhey Bahachuk is the WBC interim champion. So let me break it down to you. I think that Fundora is going to drop the belt. We're going to see Tszyu versus Crawford. And then we don't know how Josh Kelly plays into the mix here. We don't know how he plays into the mix. Then you got Lubin right there as well. Xander Zayas, he's not there yet. Top rank fighter. Bakram Murtazaliev and Jack Kuke is a much bigger fight now. That is happening this week in Germany. I'm going to find that fight and find a way to watch it. It is not broadcast here in the States, but I'm going to find it. Israel Madrimov is the WBA champion, matchroom fighter, well, fighting on Saudi cards. Beat up Magomed Kurbanov a couple of weeks ago. And you have Sebastian Fundora, who has the WBC, who will likely be taking on Errol Spence. It's a shame how politics work like that. But to be honest, let me know, do you prefer to see Fundora versus Spence or Fundora versus Crawford? By the way, from my understanding is Crawford did have a 3-fight PBC deal, but the fact that Spence flat out ducked a rematch, like, I think that's just some shady business, though. Like, you ducked a rematch, move up to 154, and basically that's Al Heyman PBC all over it. Like, that was some fucked up shady shit, but that's boxing. But rightfully, Crawford should be getting a shot. And he's the mandatory, for those who don't know. When you're WBO champion in a one division, if you move up, you become automatic mandatory. Now, as far as Tim Tszyu's concerned, he's got to have a stern talking to, like, with his team. My personal opinion is I think that PBC used Tim Tszyu, you know, and the fact that he don't have a rematch clause, like, that's kind of fucked up to me. Whoever's fault it is. Because remember, he only signed with PBC to get American exposure and the Charlo fight. Then Charlo goes to fight Canelo. He signs to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, being Mr. Glass, gets injured. There's conspiracy theories that, you know, it was always supposed to be Fundora. My colleague thinks that it was always supposed to be Fundora Big J, but I don't. I just think that Keith Thurman is Mr. Glass. Fundora steps in on, 12 days notice. First thing his team should have did was like, okay, we'll fight Fundora, but, you know, we need a rematch clause. Like, written rematch clause that if we lose, you know, we get, you know, an immediate shot. And now Tim Tszyu's out in the cold. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy with 5U360.